Hello, everyone. We are at Epic Times again, and guess what? Stupid just keeps frothing further and further. DOJ sued for refusing to explain why it will not protect conservative Supreme Court justices' homes from protests. By Matthew Vadum. A conservative group is suing the United States Department of Justice merciful Christ in his heaven, for refusing to explain why it won't enforce a federal law forbidding what the group called the recent intimidatory protests carried out by radical abortion supporters. When you're in business with death, you tend to not do that. Outside of the homes of conservative Supreme Court justices in connection with the reversal of Roe v. Wade earlier this year. They still haven't gotten it through their heads that Roe v. Wade means abortion is not a federal issue. They're not banning abortions. It's just the state issue. But if you're a totalitarian and you want that form of government, it's just one more thing that has been taken away from the grasp of the federal government, which is why they're bitching and moaning about it. But by any chance, whoever is watching this video, if you think Roe versus Wade means it's been overturned, that means no more abortions, you really need to do some reading. And you really need to sit down alone and figure a few things out about yourself. Mostly about your intellect. Roe versus Wade earlier this year. Precocious protests began at the homes of the 6 right-leaning justices in Maryland and Virginia in the wake of unprecedented May 2nd leak of a draft opinion foreshadowing the court's June 24 decision to overturn the 1973 Roe v. Wade abortion precedent, and escalated after the ruling itself was issued. If Democrats stopped shooting people, murder rate in this country would go down 90%. Nicholas John Rosk was arrested on June 8th for his alleged plan to assassinate Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Never mind the fact that they turned Justice Kavanaugh's life into living hell to get him confirmed, but it was another victory for the Republic. At his Maryland home, Rosk reportedly said he wanted to kill Kavanaugh to prevent him from voting to overturn abortion rights and gun control laws. Section 1507 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code makes it unlawful to picket or parade at or near a residence of a judge with the intent of influencing any judge in the discharge of his duty. Violators face up to a year in prison, a fine, or both. The section has been challenged in previous legal proceedings, but has survived constitutional scrutiny. None of it matters if you do nothing. Like Edmund Burke said, all that's required for triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The link will be in the description. Feel free to go ahead and, read this if you really want to know. But the point is, it just caught my eye. Meanwhile, on June 16, President Joe Biden signed the Supreme Court Police Parity Act into law. The measure gives Supreme Court officials, including Curley's office, greater authority to protect the court, members of the justices, immediate families, and other court employees. can sign whatever you want. If no one gets off their chair to do what they're supposed to do, nothing happens. Officials at the Department of Justice and Supreme Court's Public Information Office didn't respond by press time to a request by the Epoch Times for comment on the new lawsuit. Matthew Vadum. Lord, deliver us. I beg you. For God and country.